Hello, welcome back to Color and Canvas. Today I'm going to be doing a little straight pour, but I'm using a different pouring medium than I normally use. So let me tell you about what we have here. This is a 12 by 16 canvas, and some dried paint landed on, so we'll clean that off before we use it, but it's a 12 by 16 black canvas. Our pouring medium is 60% glue, 40% water. That's all it is, just glue and water. Elmer's Glue All, not school glue, Glue All. You can use school glue. My understanding is that it's more acidic, and for the lifespan of the paints, it isn't as good as using the Glue All, which is a PVA glue. So there's the difference. But if you're not worried about your painting looking great 50 years from now, use the school glue. You're going to get the same result out of it in that respect. Okay, and our paints. We have our craft paints. DecoArt Extreme Sheen 24 karat gold. And so how did we mix this cup? So this is, in this cup, this is about a 3-ounce cup. I put in 1 tablespoon of paint, 2 tablespoons of our glue and water pouring medium, and 1 teaspoon of water. So if that makes sense, you can make that into parts. If that was parts, it would be 1 part paint, 2 parts pouring medium, and 1/3 of a part of water. So there's the other math for you. Our other colors are DecoArt Extreme Sheen Copper, DecoArt Extreme Sheen Silver, one of my all-time favorites, Pink Tourmaline, Aquamarine, Sapphire. This light blue cup was a blend because I ran out of this. I had Folk Art Ice Blue, and the other closest color I had was Sky Blue Topaz. So it's a blend of those two. But I'm going to have to get more of this. This is a fabulous color. I love this. So our yellow gold blend here. This is different because I don't have any yellow craft metallic paint. So this is a mixture of lemon yellow metallic paint from Artist Loft that I label so I don't mix it up with my others, and 24 karat gold by DecoArt Americana. So this is a little different because both of these paints are much thicker than craft paints are. So I put in much more pouring medium. So this is 1 part paint, 3 parts pouring medium, and probably half a part of water. So more pouring medium, more water, but it is the same consistency as the other paints when it's all done. All right. For those keeping score, that's how we're mixing these paints. And our base coat is a whole other story altogether. This kind of mint blue color that I have, this is Artist Loft Flow Acrylic. Yes, this is the one that makes all the terrible cells, but it's what we have right now. And I put in a tiny bit of cobalt blue metallic just to tint it. So this turned out a little bit different. This was 1 part of the paint. And there's only a tiny bit of blue, so I'm not changing the recipe because I put in the tint of blue. So it's 1 part of Flow Acrylic, 3 parts of glue and water, and then extra water to thin. And I added so much water, I kind of lost track, so I don't know exactly how much water. But I took a small popsicle stick and I drizzled it so that we could see that it drizzles the same as the other paints. So there's a little secret for you. You cannot get the same idea of consistency if you're using different sizes of popsicle sticks. You can't tell. You have to use the same size of popsicle stick to drizzle the paint, or you're not really going to know whether it's the same consistency, because it will pour off this giant stick very differently than it will pour off a small one. Okay? Keep that in mind. And I'm still afraid this is too thick because it looks different right now, but I checked it with the popsicle stick. It's fine. So I'm going to move these paints aside, and I'm going to put them in the order that I want to pour them first so that I don't get messed up, because I did have an order for this. Copper, turquoise, silver, yellow gold, sapphire, pink tourmaline, and 24 karat gold. The other thing I'm going to do is I am experimenting today. I'm going to do 2 pours with this paint. So I'm going to fill up little 1-ounce shot glasses for my other pour that I'm going to be doing with these paints. I'm going to do my large pour first, so I'm going to set aside my paint for that right now, just so that I know that I have it. Right now, let's get our base coat down and have us some fun. Okay, I am fast forwarding this. Do not pour your base coat this quickly. Do it slowly, do it carefully. Whee! I'm going to move this over so you guys can see. Put that down in a puddle and get our paints poured in. So our order of paint is ice blue in the bottom. And I'm not going to scrape out this cup because we're going to use it for our second pour. Then copper goes in, and we're pouring from up high. We're letting all the paints blend together. Next is turquoise. I'm not going super high. I'm not trying to sink it to the bottom, but we are letting them blend. Then is silver. Then yellow gold. Then sapphire. Pink tourmaline. And 24 karat gold. It's going all throughout, one hopes. All right, our cup is ready. And we're just going to pour across the canvas, kind of a traveling straight pour. Here we go. From up high, letting those colors mix together. All the blue is in the bottom. It didn't move at all. Well, it is what it is. All right, let's see what happens, because the last time I did this pour with this collection of colors, we used Floetrol, not glue and water. So I am curious what will happen if we use glue and water instead of Floetrol. Are we going to get any cells at all? You know, we're trying to have the same paint consistency as we did with the Floetrol. I see lots of cells. Look at that, they're everywhere. See the cells? Pop, 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 pop. Lots of air bubbles, lots of cells. All right, so at this point I'm going to let it sit and develop for a few minutes. Because I was going to use those paints for the next pour, I just put them into my shot glasses while I was waiting for those cells to develop. And you can kind of see them coming up. Unfortunately, the next pour did not turn out great. I will not be showing it to you on this video. It was a failed experiment. The additive that we added in was not good, so you don't need to see it. Nothing to see here, folks. But just to know that this painting sat for about 2 minutes before we torched it again and started tilting. So don't rush it. Give it a few seconds to develop. So let's give this one more little torch. Ooh, so many air bubbles. Oh. Well, we're not worried about air bubbles. We want to see if we're going to get any cells. So here goes. I'm going to pour off this part at the bottom that we don't love, right off the bat. Let that part go. And I'm going to pour off this corner first. And then our last corner over here, we're going to try and conserve some of those beautiful pink cells. We'll do our best. We'll get just to the corner, and I'm going to touch that up And tilt this back. Oh. Oh. Oh, I like it. Oh, I like. Okay, I'm just gonna wipe off my gloves after I touch up this corner. I love everything that's going on here. And even this is amazing what's going on down there. I'm going to torch this again. I absolutely love what's going on here. I wish there weren't that many air bubbles in it, but there are. But what we've learned is that this could turn out really nice. And so next time we play with this, we're going to let the paint sit ahead of time and let those air bubbles disappear before we use it. But yeah, overall, this is an absolutely gorgeous effect, and I love this too. There are so many beautiful things in here that I like. All right, I'm gonna fast forward through the part where we are waiting for the cells to develop, because they are developing. And I think that I said off camera, I said, where did all the gold go? There's no gold cells. Well, they're coming. They are coming. You can see them, you know, at the top of the canvas there. They're developing really, really slowly. They're taking time. I think this took about 20 minutes before I moved it away to dry and get the other one. And you see, I keep tilting that canvas. I had trouble with warping. I was, you know, panicked the whole time I was doing this, worried that it was going to warp, so I was a little careful. I'm watching the cells at the corner, see if they pour over the side. That'll tell me if we have a warp or not. Well, anyways, I have to move this painting because we have to do painting number 2. So let me get that going, and then we'll decide. Well, here's a little close-up of how it looks. I wish the camera did the colors justice, but it simply does not. These metallic colors look great. The cells are all multicolored. There's pink surrounded by gold, gold surrounded by pink and blue. Way more gold cells developed. You'll see the whole canvas at the end of the video. But our glue and water experiment was a success. It turned out to be a really nice pouring medium. And so, yay, it worked. And thanks again for watching. Hope that you enjoyed that. And please, I encourage you, go paint something beautiful and have some fun. Have a wonderful day. Bye-bye.